Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're venturing into straw bale gardening.
Hmm,
If you've ever thought about growing your own food, but, space is tight or maybe bending down gets tricky, this could really change how you garden.
absolutely. And what's great is we have a fantastic collection of sources that you, our listener, shared with us to guide our exploration.
Oh, great. What have we got?
Well, we've got insights from Reddit's self-reliance and vegetable gardening communities, a detailed article from Verdura Vita focusing specifically on tomatoes in straw bales,
Okay.
some really practical video takeaways from Copperhead Road Homestead about growing peppers this way,
Right.
and a comprehensive guide to organic straw bale gardening from Grow Great Vegetables. Plus, we even have the Sao Chu Seed monthly gardening calendar to help us think about timing.
Exactly. So our goal with this deep dive is to take all that information, those different experiences, and really boil it down for you.
Yeah, synthesize it.
We want you to walk away with a solid understanding of how straw bale gardening works, why it's become so popular, and crucially, the essential steps to get started yourself. Think of it as your shortcut, kind of, to trying this method out.
A quick start guide.
So let's dive right in. What exactly is straw bale gardening?
Okay, so in essence, straw bale gardening is a method where you grow plants directly in straw bales instead of, planting them in the ground.
Right.
Now, what's really interesting here is that the straw bale itself transforms over time. It becomes a kind of raised bed almost, filled with rich compost-like material. And that's a big part of why it's catching on. It offers a unique and often, well, easier way to grow a variety of plants.
Okay, so it's definitely more than just tossing some seeds onto a bale then. To really understand this, what's the very first thing someone needs to think about? Step one.
The absolute first thing, and this is so important, is choosing the right kind of bale.
Yeah.
You absolutely need straw, not hay.
Straw, not hay. Why the difference?
Well, hay is basically dried grasses, often with the seed head still intact. And like Verdura Vita points out, those seeds will happily sprout in your bale.
Oh, right. Leading to lots of weeds, basically.
Exactly. A whole lot of unwanted plants. We definitely want to avoid that headache.
Okay, so straw is what we're after. What makes straw the better choice then, besides fewer seeds?
Well, straw is the leftover stalks of grains, like wheat or oats, after the grain itself has been harvested. So yes, far fewer seeds.
Okay.
But even more importantly for gardening, as the Verdura Vita article really emphasizes, these straw bales start to decompose. They become like their own little elevated compost heaps.
Ah, okay.
And this breakdown process creates a nutrient-rich and often disease-free zone where your plant roots can really thrive.
That's a great way to picture it, your own portable, fertile mini garden almost. Anything else to look for when picking out the straw bales?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
You'll want to try and find bales that haven't been treated with herbicides or, harsh chemicals.
Good.
Some folks on vegetable gardening discuss those chemicals could potentially harm your plants, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Right.
Also, it's worth noting, like the best plants for straw bale gardening mentions, this method is often less expensive than building traditional raised beds.
Really? How so?
Well, you're saving on materials like wood and, importantly, a lot of soil you'd normally need to fill those beds. Plus, it's an environmentally friendly approach, since the straw eventually just breaks down into compost.
Okay, so we've got our straw bales, definitely not hay, hopefully chemical-free. What's next? Can we just, stick some plants in them now?
Not quite yet. Here's where it gets really interesting, and it's a crucial step. Before you plant anything, you need to condition the bale.
Condition.
Yes. It's absolutely essential to kickstart that decomposition we were talking about. It generally takes about 10 to 12 days.
Okay, almost 2 weeks.
Right. Both Verdura Vita and Copperhead Road Homestead highlight this. They actually recommend preparing your bales in advance. Think of it as giving your straw bale a vital head start.
So how do we actually do that? How do we condition these bales? Walk me through it.
Okay, the Verdura Vita article gives us a really clear step-by-step. First, you place your bales exactly where you want them to stay all season.
Ah, because they get heavy.
Exactly. Once they get wet, they become incredibly heavy. Moving them later is, well, difficult.
Yeah, sure.
Make sure you leave the strings on. They help hold the bale together. Then, for that 10 to 12-day period, water them thoroughly from the top every single day.
Every day. How much water?
About a minute of watering per bale should do it. Just soak it well.
Okay, just water. That sounds simple enough.
Well, that's just the start of the conditioning. After the first 2 days of just water, you introduce a nitrogen-rich fertilizer.
Nitrogen, okay.
You sprinkle about 1/4 to 1/2 cup on top of each bale. But you do this every other day.
Every other day. Got it. What kind of fertilizer?
It can be an organic option like blood meal or fish emulsion. Actually, someone on Terria Self-Reliance, Ancient 72, I think, specifically suggested fish emulsion. Or you can use a standard lawn fertilizer, but, and this is vital, it must not contain any weed killers. No weed and feed products.
Right, definitely don't want that. So why the nitrogen?
The nitrogen acts as food for the microbes, the tiny organisms that will start breaking down the straw. So it really jump-starts that internal composting process within the bale.
Okay, so water every day, then add nitrogen fertilizer every other day after day 2. What's happening inside the bale? How do we know it's working?
It's pretty neat, actually. As the straw starts decomposing, the temperature inside the bales will start to rise. You might even feel the heat.
Oh, wow.
Then, after about a week, maybe 10 days, you should notice that temperature starting to cool down again.
Ah, okay.
According to Verdura Vita, that drop in temperature is your signal. It means the bales are becoming a more stable environment and they're ready for planting.
So the bale kind of tells you when it's ready?
Exactly. At that point, you stop adding the fertilizer, but you keep watering regularly to keep them consistently moist. It's a cool example of working with natural decomposition.
That internal temperature check is a really useful indicator. It's like the bale is saying, okay, I'm ready for plants now. Now, Copperhead Road Homestead, you mentioned they had their own process. Was it different?
Yeah, slightly. They talked about moistening the bale and using urine along with other fertilizers.
Urine. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a source of nitrogen too.
Mhm.
What was particularly interesting is they covered one of their bales with black plastic
Oh, hi.
to help kill off any seeds that might have germinated during the initial wetting. They said they noticed a hugely different feel in how that bale decomposed compared to one that wasn't covered.
So maybe helps with any stray seeds and decomposition.
Seems like it. It just shows there can be slight variations, but the core idea is initiating that breakdown.
Good to know there might be a few tweaks possible. So after this 10-12 day conditioning, the bales are finally ready. What kinds of things can we actually grow in them? Is it limited?
Not really. You actually have quite a wide range of choices. Our sources, Verdura Vita, Copperhead Road Homestead, the best plants for straw bale gardening, they all report success with really popular stuff.
Like what?
Tomatoes, lettuce, kale, beans, squash, zucchini, peppers, garlic, basil. It seems like many common garden vegetables and herbs do pretty well in this setup.
Okay, so a good variety. Now the actual planting, how does that work? Is it just like digging a hole in dirt?
Not exactly the same. It kind of depends if you're using seedlings or starting from seed.
Okay, let's start with seedlings, like tomatoes or peppers.
Right. For seedlings, both Verdura Vita and Copperhead Road Homestead describe a similar method. You use a hand trowel, make a hole down through the top layers of straw into the bale. Make it big enough for the seedling's root ball.
Okay.
Then you place the plant in the hole, but you fill the space around the roots with standard potting soil.
Ah, so not just straw.
Right. You create a little pocket of potting soil within the bale for the plant to start in. Then you water it in really well.
That makes sense. Gives the roots a good starting point. What about spacing? How many plants per bale?
Good question. Spacing matters. Verdura Vita suggests giving tomatoes about 24 to 30 inches between them, and they say maybe max 2 tomato plants per bale.
Okay, 2 tomatoes per bale.
But then, Copperhead Road Homestead, they managed to plant 3 pepper plants on each side of a single bale.
Wow, on the side.
Yeah, which shows you can sometimes fit more depending on the plant. And they specifically pointed out you can even plant in the sides of the bales.
Planting in the sides. That's clever, maximizes the space.
Definitely. Especially for things like herbs or maybe some smaller flowers.
Cool. Okay, what about starting directly from seeds, like lettuce or something?
For seeds, Verdura Vita suggests spreading a layer of potting soil, maybe an inch or 2 deep, right on top of the conditioned bale.
Okay.
And then you sow your seeds directly into that soil layer.
But you mentioned Copperhead Road had different results.
Yeah, they found they had better luck starting plants as seedlings first and then transplanting them into the bale rather than direct seeding.
Okay.
So for someone trying this at home, maybe starting with seedlings, either ones you grow yourself or buy, might give you a slightly better chance of success, at least initially.
Good tip. Seedlings seem a bit more reliable, perhaps. Okay, plants are in their straw bale homes. How do we keep them happy? Watering, maintenance.
Right, this is super critical. Several sources, like the best plans for straw bale gardening and a user on Reddit, Physical Arugula 877, They all stress that straw bales dry out faster than regular soil.
Faster. Okay.
So consistent watering is absolutely key. That Reddit user even said they needed to water quite a lot. So you really need to keep an eye on moisture levels.
Like checking every day.
Probably, especially when it's hot or windy. Think of the straw like a sponge. It holds water, but it also drains well and has more surface area exposed to air. So yeah, monitor it closely.
So be prepared for more frequent watering. What did Copperhead Road say about their routine?
They mentioned watering every couple of days. They also sometimes use compost tea.
Oh, like extra nutrients.
Yeah. But they noted it might not be strictly necessary as long as you just keep the bale well watered.
Right.
The main thing is consistency taking. Keep it damp, not soggy, but definitely not letting it dry out completely.
Got it. Consistent moisture. Now, what about weeds? One of the big selling points I hear is less weeding. Is that true?
Yes, that seems to be a genuine advantage, highlighted by multiple sources.
Oh, good.
The Reddit discussions, the Grow Great Vegetables guide, they all suggest weeding is significantly reduced compared to digging in the ground.
Nice.
Copperhead Road Homestead also found fewer weeds in their bales, especially after that conditioning process, which might have helped kill off some initial seeds. You're basically starting with a mostly sterile medium, not soil full of existing weed seeds.
Fewer weeds is a major plus for any gardener. Okay, what about fertilizer? We use nitrogen for conditioning, but do the plants need more food later on? Does the straw provide enough?
That's a really good question. While the straw does break down and eventually contribute some nutrients, the best plants for straw bale gardening points out that you'll likely need a supplement.
Okay.
The straw itself isn't soil, so it doesn't start with a full bank of nutrients. Ancient 72 on Reddit recommended using a liquid fertilizer, like fish emulsion again.
Ah, fish emulsion seems popular.
It's convenient because you can often just add it to your watering routine. So yes, plan on feeding your plants throughout the season.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've covered choosing bales, conditioning, planting, watering, feeding. Before we wrap up this teaching part, let's recap the big picture benefits. Why should someone consider this?
Okay, key advantages. Definitely the reduced weeding we just talked about.
It's huge.
Also, potentially fewer soil-borne pests and diseases, which the Reddit folks mentioned. Because it's elevated, it's much easier on the back, less bending.
Yes.
It's fantastic for small spaces or places you wouldn't normally garden, like a patio or even pavement. And some find, once established, it can be pretty water efficient because the straw acts like mulch, holding moisture inside.
Ah, those are some really strong points, but there have to be downsides, right? What are the potential drawbacks people should know?
Absolutely. Good to be aware. First, that initial 10, 12-day conditioning period. It takes time and, some effort with the watering and fertilizer.
Okay. Commitment up front.
Then, the need for more frequent watering throughout the season. That's a big one to remember.
Right. You got to stay on top of it.
Also, the bales themselves decompose. They aren't permanent. The Best Plants Guide suggests they typically last about 2 growing seasons.
2 seasons. Okay, so you have to replace them.
Yes, but the decomposed straw makes great compost for other parts of your garden.
Ah, silver lining. Anything else?
That same source suggests maybe avoiding root crops, like carrots or potatoes, and perennials in first-year bales. They might do better in the second year when the bales are more broken down and softer inside.
That's really useful advice. Good to know about the lifespan and which plants work best when. Now, thinking about timing, the Verdura Vita author wished they'd started conditioning earlier. How can that So True seed calendar help plan this?
Right, timing is key. The calendar gives general planting times for your area based on frost dates and stuff.
Okay.
While it's not specific to straw bales, you use it to figure out when you'd normally start your seeds indoors or when it's safe to plant seedlings outside.
Right.
Then you just work backwards. You need to factor in that 10, 12-day conditioning period before your target planting date.
Ah, okay. So if the calendar says plant tomatoes outside in mid-May.
Exactly. You'd want to start conditioning your bales around the beginning of May so they're perfectly ready, cool down right when your seedlings need to go in.
Got it. Align the bale readiness with the local planting schedule. Makes perfect sense. Wow, we've really dug into the details of straw bale gardening.
We certainly have. From the why to the how, covering the setup, the conditioning, planting, and ongoing care.
So there you have it, a pretty thorough deep dive into the world of straw bale gardening. We've walked you through everything from picking the right straw all the way to keeping things growing well.
Now, for you listening, what stands out? What's the most interesting part of this method to you? Is it maybe the less backstrain? Or gardening on a patio? or just the cool science of the bale composting itself?
Yeah, think about that. And remember, this deep dive project is all about helping you unlock new knowledge and skills quickly and clearly.
Mm.
If you found this useful, if you enjoyed exploring straw bale gardening with us, please do consider following, liking, subscribing, whatever the button is where you listen.
Yeah, it really helps others find the show.
It does, and you won't miss our future deep dives. Plus, we're always looking for new things to explore. What are you curious about? Let us know. Share your suggestions. Your questions really do fuel what we tackle next.
Absolutely. So, as we finish up, just take a moment, pause, and consider, could straw bale gardening be a good fit for you? Maybe the answer to a gardening challenge you have, or just, a fun experiment for this season.
Yeah, what's one small step you could take today? Maybe just search online for local straw suppliers, or look up pictures of those side-planted herbs we talked about.
We really hope this deep dive has planted a seed, maybe inspired you to try something new in your garden.